When I was young, it was pretty common for people to walk around with no shoes on, particularly children, to walk around with no shoes on. That was a pretty common thing to do. Well, there was an individual who, and I won't get into details on this, basically was being carried around by an older sibling, and that older sibling was carrying the younger one because there were burrs in the field where we were walking. If you're not familiar with burrs, I'm glad for you, because it's not a pleasant experience to walk through a field and then pick the burrs out of your feet. Anyway, so the older sibling was carrying the younger, and the older was sort of joking around, acting like they were going to drop the younger one. Well, this upset the younger one, and they said to the older one, "If you don't stop that, I'm not going to let you carry me anymore." Now, you may be wondering what this has to do with the subject today, when feelings drive, on the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host, by the way. I'm Kurt, and today is Wednesday, the 29th of December of 2021. That means tomorrow will be the 30th of December of 2021. Welcome to everyone who's here on Rumble, the podcast, YouTube, Clout Hub, and BitChute, and anywhere else that you happen to be catching me today. Welcome, and remember that Rumble at the present moment is my preferred platform. Today's subject, again, is going to be when feelings drive, and I want to elaborate on that one thing before I get into my notes. The point is this: had that young man thought for just a second, and it was a young man, but we need not get into more detail than that, about what he was saying, he would have realized that he was essentially acting out of frustration, anger, and so forth, and not acting logically. Because if he had thought about it logically, he would have realized this person is keeping me from limping across this field of burrs, basically, and having my tender little feet messed up. Not messed up badly. It wouldn't have hurt the individual badly for that to happen. But that having been said, let me go ahead and get through my notes, and we'll kind of get into some of the base of all of this as opposed to anecdotal stuff. It's extremely probable, if you've listened to me for very long, you've heard me talk on this subject in past. I want to embrace some questions as a part of the presentation today that maybe I haven't managed to discuss with the clarity I would have liked in previous presentations. An example of a query I have covered in past would be, is having feelings act as your driver a good thing? If you know me at all, you should be clear on my answer. I'm not saying feelings should never be a part of what drives you. That may be true, but largely it's a terribly bad idea to make them a strong driver. Further, you should take the time to let emotion die down when considering most things you intend to do. Another question that came to me when I started to think on this subject is, should we stuff or ignore our feelings? And the answer to that, I say, I'm pretty sure that's more or less always harmful. Besides that, doing so is likely to affect you in bad ways. Those feelings have a tendency to affect outcomes in more or less unrecognized and unrecognizable ways. So how should we deal with them? The first answer is acknowledge their existence. After that, we must tackle their being there and work to move them out of the way as a general rule. Will we have to allow for them to get in the middle of things at times? Yes. I have to say, as I get older, I think that's less the case, but it still happens, even today. I would be lying to you if I tried to tell you that was not the case, that we wouldn't have to know they're going to get in the middle of things at times. You can count on feelings stomping all over things periodically. Even though that's the case, as a rule, our aim ought to be to not allow them to drive us around. I could go into who I thought was more likely to be blown about by emotion. I don't see that as a worthwhile direction to take. Rather, I think we all need to be self-aware. Will emotion try to take the driver's seat in my life? That's the question that I would be asking myself, and I hope that you're asking yourself. If so, I believe it's generally a good idea to refuse to ride along. More often than not, it's better to let yourself cool down, then decide what makes the most sense over the course of time. Okay, done with my notes. Let me get on with the rest of my discussion. As a young person, many times I allowed myself to be driven about by emotion. And let me just tell you, that did more to harm my life than almost anything else. A bunch of smart people have said a thing. That thing is, if you want to know who's responsible for where you are in life, the best thing you can do is look in a mirror. The best thing you can do is look in a mirror. No joke. That is where you're going to find the person who is most responsible for where you find yourself in life. Right there. Right in that mirror. You may not think so. You may not believe it. It's true. Trust me on this. It's true. And for most people, the thing that embitters them and makes them the most frustrated, they don't even realize, but it's acting out of emotion. It's lashing out and it's doing things that are harmful to their well-being. And the thing about it is, as I say, the consideration is this. Let's say that I thought, for example, men were more prone to act out of emotion. Let's say, for example, that I thought that. Does it do anything beneficial for me to say it? No, it doesn't. What I should be doing is pointing out to people that the way you act will matter to the results that you will get. And if you act out of emotion, you will get bad results almost invariably, because you will allow yourself to believe that things are broken in unfairness and things of that sort, instead of saying, look, this is just how it is and I need to learn to live with it. Today, I fight the bitterness of realizing that people around me do stupid things. But you know what? I can learn to avoid dealing with their stupidity. Even if it's true, even if what I'm saying is true, even if those people act stupidly, I can learn to deal with that situation and to keep myself out of it. And I can do things that will exacerbate this situation, which typically are out of emotion as well, or I can do things that will not, which typically is more sort of calculating in what I'm doing. I'm walking down that aisle, a person jumps into the aisle from the other direction, there's room for one cart, we're both pushing carts, I can calmly turn around and walk out of the aisle. Is it really doing me any benefit to say anything to the individual? They're not getting anything out of it. They're not listening. In fact, more than once I've had people be irate at me for saying something to them. Even if I was the first one in the aisle and halfway down, by the time they got into the aisle and knew that there was no way that the two of us could work the aisle together. Even so, they would get upset at me and ask me if I had a problem with them. Yes, I have a problem with you. Does it make any sense to talk about it? Apparently not. All you're going to do is lash out at me. So from my perspective, I should take the non-emotional route, turn around, walk out of the aisle, move away. That's what I should do. When I see people in aisles that are taking 20 minutes in the aisle, the same thing applies. Just assume they're going to take their 20 minutes and move on. And, this is obviously a couple of thousands of examples where in my life I've done things that probably caused people to react badly to me, and that caused me to react badly to people and things, and basically destroy things in many instances that it made no sense for me to do that to. Look, it just doesn't make any sense most of the time to let feelings drive. It just doesn't. And that's as much a thing for me as it is for you. I'm not just saying this for you. As I've said a bunch of times, when I say what I say on my podcasts, on my little videos, when I say what I say, I'm not saying those things just for you. It's a reminder to me because, hey, guess what? Lots of the time, I have the same problems. Okay, I need to go ahead and wrap up. This is the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt, and today is Wednesday, the 29th of December of 2021. That means tomorrow will be Thursday, coming ever closer to the weekend. We're on that middle of the weekday today. Tomorrow, Thursday, like I say, the 30th of December, 2021. Thank you for everyone who's been welcome. Thank you for everyone who's been here on Rumble, on the podcast, on YouTube, on CloutHub, and on BitChute, and anywhere else you might happen to catch me. Remember that Rumble is my preferred platform. You can give me a boxing glove or a Rumble on Rumble. You can give me a plus or a positive feedback or a minus or negative feedback on Rumble, and on any other platform, which includes YouTube, where you can give me the thumbs up or like or the thumbs down or dislike. You can give me the various feedback to let me know how I'm doing. If I put my content on a platform and there's a possibility to comment on that platform, particularly if I'm notified of it, I will do my best to pay attention. I won't absolute guarantee, but I will do my best to pay attention to what you say when you say things, and decide whether or not it makes sense for me to act or respond, either one or both, as it happens. So by all means, if you choose to comment, that's a good thing. Subject for today has been when feelings drive, and tomorrow we're going to talk about dying relationships. And I want to make one thing very clear. I'm not an expert. I'm just giving my opinion. That's one thing I want to make clear in case I forget to say it tomorrow. I don't think I will. I'm pretty sure I even put it in my notes, because I want you to know I'm no relationship expert. Don't take relationship advice from me. I'm hoping to clarify in my mind, as well as to help other people to understand exactly what it is that makes relationships die and how to deal with that. Hope you're having a good day today. Hope everything is going well for you, and hopefully we will see you again on Thursday's edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video was recorded on Wednesday, December 29th of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.